Good morning. So this is Shifting Perspectives with Daniel Posney. And my talk this morning is about how to protect yourself against dark energies or evil entities and that kind of thing. And I tend to get asked about this every month or so about how do you protect yourself. And I want to share with you what has worked for me and may work for you, but everybody's got to choose their own method. But since that question does come up, I want to address it in this way. Um, it was years ago when it was back in the early 2000s when I was starting to start my spiritual path. And I was in my bedroom and I think it was nighttime, and I started seeing these dark shapes kind of floating by in my room. They were, kind of hanging out it looked like they were hanging out in the corners. And I was wondering, is this something behind my eyes or in my brain or what's happening? But I definitely felt an energy in the room. And then there was other times where I'm laying on my bed and I know that the covers were pulled off of me. And I know that my body was beginning to levitate from the bed, and there was definitely some energy there. And then there was other times when I'm lying with my face on the pillow on my side, and I felt this like a hand on the side of my face. And it kind of freaked me out for a little bit. And I wondered, like, what is this? And you know how you just put the covers over your head and you just close your eyes and hope, it goes away. And then I had this lucid dream about a huge raven on my bed. And I opened up my eyes after I heard it squawking at me. And I opened up my eyes and I said, I'm awake. Okay, I'm awake. I checked with myself over and over. I'm awake. I'm awake. And it was my bedroom. It felt like a different place, but it was my bedroom. And this huge raven was on my bed and was squawking at me. And I'm rubbing my eyes. I'm going, it's bright in this room. I'm awake. It's not nighttime. And then I kind of clicked into the other reality, this normal reality. I thought, what the hell was all that about? Now that I look back on that, I can see how that experience and other experiences that, kind of shook me a little bit, they were kind of practice. I'd look at it like it was kind of a training for me so that I wouldn't run from the darkness that I was set to dive into doing the work that I do. So I was taught a prayer early on by someone who is a bit more conscious than I was at the time. And it goes like this. So you call in Archangel Michael and you say, Archangel Michael, please come in. And then you say, dear ones. And this is so you're talking to the entities or the darkness or these other beings that you don't really want around anymore. And it goes, dear ones, you are healed and forgiven. You are filled and surrounded with Christ's light. You are filled and surrounded with Christ's love. You're free from fear, pain, and the earth's vibration. You are one with your higher self. Archangel Michael is here to take you to your true home. Go now, go in peace. So what I would do is I would say that 3 times. And for me, I just have this thing where I'm yawning while I'm doing this, and yawning just kind of one of these body signals that I get. So I keep on doing it until I stop yawning. And it's usually around 3 times. But the way that I'm saying it, the energy behind it makes a lot of difference. I'm not saying it with any fear. I'm saying, hey, you're in the wrong place right now, and I'd rather not have you around. I love you, and I'm not scared of the energy that you are carrying, but this is not the right place for you. And when I come off with that kind of energy, it's just a really confident, present energy. And there was another time when a partner of mine, she and I were sleeping, and I had this other dream. It was a lucid dream. It was so real, same kind of thing where I was completely awake, but in a different reality. That's how I would describe it. And there was this gray entity, this kind of gargoyle, kind of a golem energy, and it was on top of my partner, and it was like beating on her. And I was just stuck in this reality, this now reality. I always felt like I was stuck in this reality, and I couldn't move out of it. And I was doing everything I could to, move my physical body to get to this entity, this thing. And then finally, I don't know how I did it, but I pulled myself out of this now reality into the reality that I saw him in. It was kind of like the two realities were kind of blended. And I pushed myself into this gargoyle thing, and I shoved him off of her, and I just laid on top of her to protect her. And then the entity left. And from what I learned from that experience is these dark entities, they get something from a way in. And if there's fear or worry or someone not completely at that moment, not really in alignment, then they'll find a way in. And I know that it's happened to me too, is that when I'm not completely feeling powerful in my center, there's a way in there. So my belief that's really held true for me is that if I believe that I need to be protected, whether that's today or next year or whatever, if there's a moment that I feel that maybe my energy isn't so strong, then I damn well better protect myself, because I'm kind of opening myself up, and I'm opening up, some might say, portals or channels or something. So it's probably a good idea if I do that, especially if I'm working with someone else's energy field and doing some shamanic healing on somebody. Then for their benefit, at least, I should surround us with a protective field of light, or however you want to do that. The important thing is that it really feels really good to you, and it's something that you say, okay, this is the thing that I am completely convinced and believe that will protect me. If you're going into it where you're kind of going, oh gosh, please protect us from any dark, and that's not going to do it. It's got to be something that you really feel confident about. And then the other thing is, you could set the intention in something. And I was just looking at a friend of mine named Laura Radigan. She's selling these candles, and they're supposed to clear away dark energies and that kind of stuff. And it's associated with the Egyptian and stuff like that. They look really cool. And what you could do is you could get a candle like that, and you could set the intention that no matter what, wherever I am, whenever I light this candle, it'll create this field of protection, of love and light. So then you just light the candle, and you don't have to go into the whole process of it if you don't have the time or you're not thinking of it. That you set the intention, every time I light this candle, then this is what happens. I want to say something about maybe new healers and maybe old healers that aren't comfortable with the darkness. There's how do I want to say this? You're really playing with some strong energies when you go into someone else's field, or when you say that you're going to step into that, and you're not comfortable with the dark energies. If you go into this place of, I am this awakened being full of light, but you're not comfortable with your own darkness and haven't accepted that as that's also you, I feel for you, and I would not want to work with you. I really want to work with someone that knows they're the light, and they also know they're the darkness too. So that way that person can, I don't know, it's you can communicate with that level, with that darkness, and we can kind of be friends with it. And then we can step into that. We can work on both levels of that. So the way that I works for me is, I know I'm the light. And so I go in, and most times I don't feel a need to protect myself. And so when I feel the energies that I'm feeling, the sadness or the anger, the depression from this other person, I realize that other person is also me, and we're not separate. And so it's really my energies that I'm feeling. It's my own darkness that I'm feeling. And so because I open myself up to that, and I say, bring it on, I know I'm that too. And then because it's so open, it comes into me, and it comes out of me as fast as it came in. So I work with my friend Jonathan, who's on this call. Hey, Jonathan. And we've done shamanic healing for different healers in town. And it's been that kind of thing where, we feel the energy and it's very strong. And then there's emotions in the room. But then once you allow that in and kind of release it so easily, it's like I find myself back to ground zero again really fast. So I'll really be feeling it. I'm crying and I'm feeling the emotion, and then boom, it's gone and I'm back to myself again. But I feel if I went in there and I said, I've got to protect myself, I've got to close this down and not feel this, and I've got a shield of protection, then it's like I'm limiting that acceptance and the embracing of what I already am. And what happens when you resist something, it persists. So my thing that works for me, and has worked for over 15 years now doing this work, is just to completely accept that as part of myself. I am the light, but it also includes the darkness too. So if you are working with someone's energy field and you are holding a spiritual presence, if there's something in you that if you be really honest with yourself, that you're not in integrity with that light, you're not fully convinced of that light, and you're putting on a performance, be careful with that, because I would recommend that you do your counseling or your coaching without going into somebody else's field. So there's when I first started doing this kind of work, I was really cautious of what I was telling someone, or the intuition that I thought was coming from me, or diving right into saying that I know what this is and that kind of thing. I really kind of tiptoed my way into that. Maybe that was lack of confidence, but it really served me at the time, because I didn't want to step into some place that I wasn't ready for. So I started with some, I have some advice, or, well, this is what worked for me. And then it led into more coaching, and then more counseling, and then more therapy work. And then it led into shamanic healing and energy work. And that's when I felt like I was in a place that I had accepted those parts of myself, and I had to embrace that there really isn't this separation. And I want to add this thing that's it's way out there concept, but it's what really I started to embrace. It's about replacing the idea that this evil, dark energy is something that you need to protect yourself from solely and stay away from it. What I've decided to shift my perspective on is that, yes, I may need to protect myself, but not because it's separate from me. I know this is a weird thing to talk about, but my thought is that the dark energy is also my friend. And my friend is preparing me for even darker energies. You see that? So those dark energies, a little bit that I experienced in my bedroom or on my bed or whatever it was, that was in my training. And that dark energy also wants to see me succeed. That dark energy also is, finding its own way home, and it's going to go back to the light. But in the meantime, it has a job to do. And that job right now is to help me train myself to be able to be comfortable in the darkest of dark. And that, to me, it may not make much sense, but it really opens up my heart, and I start getting emotional feelings about that, wow, everything is here to love and support me. Even the dark energies, even the most evil of energies, is actually part of me and actually working with me. Because what happens? What happens when a dark energy comes into your field, or an evil feeling comes into your field? What does it cause you to do? Well, it might cause you to shrink down and not know yourself, to not realize how powerful you are in the light. But also it might cause you to express yourself more into the light and say, this is who I am, damn it. And there's no way that you can hurt me because I'm in charge here. And that kind of an attitude and that kind of a presence, that dark energy can't go in. It just does not find a way in there. So you could think that maybe that dark energy is causing me to become even stronger in my light. And it's, on the one hand, you might say, oh yeah, I beat that energy, or I dispelled that energy. But on the other hand, from that dark energy, they may say to themselves, wow, I really got Daniel to step up into his light. That's what I want to hold on to, is that We're all in this together, even the dark energy, even the evil energies. That I've also been some of that too. If I really embrace the wholeness, the greatness of all that I am, it's all that stuff too. And in this body, I am the light, and this is how I'm showing up. But my past friends were the darkness, and they were here to help me. So I've been in some really dark sessions with people that have had the worst thing you could not even imagine happen. And had I not had those dark experiences or the evil energies in my field and dealt with that, I would have ran out of the room. So because I go into a session and I say, Spirit come, Spirit come, Spirit come, what would you have me say? And what would you have me do? And what if I realized that the only truth was love? Then I go into the session and I know that it's not little Daniel that's trying to figure all this stuff out. It's Daniel that's the channel. And the way that he keeps himself as a channel for that light is doing whatever he can to raise his vibration. Which leads me to this last part, is that if you are worried about protecting yourself and for some silly reason you're still in the healing world and you're worried about evil and dark energies, then there's some real cultivating of that sacred energy and connecting with the divine that will help you. And that means there's these 5 things: what you eat, what you drink, what you watch, what you listen to, and what you speak. And all those things will start to cultivate a stronger, more divine presence in your life. So I would say, if you're even thinking about, or you're continuing to work in that kind of a deep energetic field with other people or with yourself, but especially with other people, there really is a requirement that you cultivate that as much as possible. And I don't teach people to become a monk in this. Maybe we were a monk before, and this is where we're kind of blending the two. But at least when you're doing this work, is to cultivate that energy and not use things like spiritual bypass. Like, we do know some people that use some spiritual bypass and are not really authentic or in integrity with their acceptance and embracing of all their energies. Their mad, angry behavior, their rage, their darkness, their dark thoughts, and all those things. And some of those things I just touched on a video that I just created called 10 Radical Ways to Embody Love. And one part of that talk that I did, it was all about, could it be that, how would you feel if you're the one on the cross and you were filled with love? How would you feel if you were the nailer? Have you ever had any thoughts of hating God? Have you ever had any thoughts of having perverted sexual fantasies? Have you ever had any thoughts of murdering someone? And I have to say that all those things, I had to be really honest with myself. And I had to say, yeah, I had that too. Yep, I've had that too. Yep, I've had that one too. I'm not proud of it, but there are some parts of my life that were dark. But that's all part of me. And I'm more aware of those parts of myself and accepting of those parts of myself. But therein lies the opportunity to embody love. Again, as you find those parts about yourself, then you embody love. And it's kind of like, I just feel myself being built up with more and more light once I embrace those parts of myself. So I think that's all I got for right now. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And go forth, Jedi. Thank you. I love you. Bless you. See you.